the premium state. Would you? I would say that like and a symptom of that is that the experience is striving for like novelty, I guess. As you say, the will to taste. But as that the best translation of that in human form is in the best frameworking state. You're in a state of what I would call renewal or like a refreshing state where it
Recycling. It's like
feels
you're.
like
Go ahead.
I was trying to say it feels like the equivalent of um not breathing and then having like taking a full breath.
So there are two
What were you
different.
saying?
No, I actually wasn't talking. There was a lag. I think. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was waiting for you to talk.
Okay. So the two concepts I have that are look similar to this is first of all the yo-yo. Is this what you're talking about? And there's another one we found this. The yo-yo is the concept. So like what it sounds like you're talking about is. Are you talking more about the recycling or are you talking more about the pauses between breaths? Which one are you emphasizing?
I would elaborate on recycling.
So there are two different. The first framework is this concept of recycling, which is like the best way to escape the event horizon of non-novelty through the awareness of how non-novel the situation is to focus on consuming the thing which thinks that this is not novel as novel in itself. So it's like the goal is not to supersede the thing which thinks that this situation is not novel. The goal is to consume the thing which is thinking that this is not novel as in itself novel. So you're not trying to not think about how boring the situation is. You're trying to think about how insane it is that you're capable of thinking that it is boring. That's sort of the recycling framework. And then the other framework would be the yo-yo framework, which it would be if you're focusing on the period between breaths, how you're not capable of actually consistently achieving it, but more focused on the intervals between successful moments, then that would be the yo-yo framework, which is that you need to always be consistently upping the momentum of that yo-yo. And it's not about one good swing. It's not about doing it right now, this second, conquering it right now. It's about the consistent building of momentum with each individual swing, which means the consistent return to God with every falter. Each time you forget him, each time you get muddled in the triviality, to instantly return and increase the rate at which you return by thinking about the inescapability of faltering and replacing the focus on the disappointment with your faltering with instantly getting back on the horse and continuing to ride. Which one would you say it's more aligned with, or does it align with neither?
Um, so I guess I'll restate. So like so that the hold on. So the idea is like in a normal human state, if you're thinking, if you're in a thought loop or you're attached to a thought, as you're saying, if you have that attachment or if you have like physical stress, they're all like it feels like stopping. It feels like it's the energy of you not operating functionally, and the idea of renewal is like literally it's like the the arteries are clogged and they get unclogged, and it feels like something constantly spinning and getting energy from itself. If that makes sense. Like
Yeah, I would call that the rev limiter.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would say is exactly what you're talking about. Where it's like you cross an event horizon where you eventually are spinning so fast that you just turn into a black hole, right? Like it's literally there's the rate at which you are dissolving identification with thoughts becomes so fast that eventually no coherent thought is even capable of forming, and then your mind state is turned from monotonous language into screaming and whooping and fucking Kanye bass lines, right? Just the most absurd sounds you've ever heard in your entire life. Pure, unbridled, beautiful mania. And that is the rev limiter framework.
Yeah, in that moment, it feels like, 'cause, like, in the average moment, your brain is striving to identify with something. It's striving to attach to something to feed off of. But in that moment, there's nothing particular to feed off of. It's instead feeding off of, like, literally everything, and everything is divided into, like, infinite small points. So it's like you're drinking, like, the equivalent of, like, carbonated water, I guess. It just there's more going on. There's more stimuli.
So,
Uh,
what were you saying?
Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was not saying.
Okay. The way I would put it is, if you think about the appreciation beam framework, or appreciation obliteration, as I've been calling it now, if you think about the appreciation obliteration, the whole point of the appreciation obliteration framework is to say that each thought that goes by, instead of identifying with it, you should just appreciate it for its value, right? Appreciation is the understanding of um, utility in relation to the best experience, right? So, what appreciation
Did you say
is
that in the moment of appreciating something, like, when you're actually running the appreciation framework, like, it feels that particular the the feeling, the thought textures of that thing, you're more receptive to it, right?
well, yeah, it's like, instead of being it, you're just the conduit for it as it runs across your mind. Um, like, so what this is what I would explain. It's like, so the appreciation beam is very similar to the old concept we had of, like the Buddhist deconstruction, or even the first rendition, which was like pinching concepts shut. So, like, the first idea I ever had was mindset switching, and how mindset switching worked wasn't like modern day framework where you could copy and paste thoughts. All you could do was close them, and closing them was like putting a fucking whatever the clips are that you put on chips, right? It's like all you're doing is like rolling it up until it no longer exists, until it pops, until it consumes itself. Like, you're tightening it until it's no longer even visible. You're shrinking it to the point where it is no longer perceivable by the human eye. And so what that actually feels like is, it feels like you're having a thought, and then as that thought is going by, you're thinking, I want to go to McDonald's, and then it just stops. Like, it's like you're like halting it. You're actively focusing so much on how retarded that thought is that you're having, that it's not even like you're like you never want to reach the point where you're thinking about how retarded the thought is, because now you're wasting time on thinking about how retarded that thought was, and that's wasted time. So instead, what you need to do is you just need to stop thinking about thought and start thinking about a more valuable thought. Well, how do you do that? I can't start thinking about a more valuable thought because right now I'm thinking about this thought, and I don't know what a more valuable thought is, or I'd already be having it. So what do? You just focus on how retarded the current thought is. It will eventually fade away. It will eventually get consumed into this vacuum, this appreciation orb, this black hole, right? And then as it gets consumed, what happens? You are left with an essentially empty mind, like the Buddhists always talked about. And the goal isn't to get to this essentially empty mind. The goal is to use this essentially empty mind as a consistent stage reset, complete and total full wipe of everything which was currently on your mind, that you only activate in situations where you want it, right? It's a complete and total computer reset, like software reset. Like, you're taking every single thing off your phone and then rebooting it completely. That is what the concept of sealing such shuts thought will lead to. After you obliterate a thought, you're left in limbo between thoughts, which is essentially silence. And then inevitably you will get another thought. And then all you can do is you can evaluate that thought based on its utility, and then think, should this thought be destroyed? Should I consume this thought, or should I not? And if you do, then you'll return to limbo, and you get another one, 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 until finally you find a good one. And when you find a good one, then you focus on it, you flourish it, you add fuel, you fan the flames, right? You add fuel to the fire. You want to add gasoline to the furnace so that it expands and that thought grows. You want to, as Jock would always say, you want to water the flower, not watch it grow. You don't actually want to become that thought. You don't want to attach to that thought just because it's useful. What you want to do is you want to stay detached, and you want to watch it grow. And even if it dies, that's fine. You want to just suck as much utility out as possible. After it stops doing its own thing, after the language stops forming itself, you can try to intentionally juice the last bit of value out of it that you can intellectually with words. And then you should inevitably destroy that once those words stop being useful. And then you should go back to limbo. And then what do you do when you go back to limbo? You get another thought and then you destroy it. I don't know. Do you? Is it useful? And then so on and so forth and so on and so forth for the rest of infinity. And with that understanding of just closing thoughts and returning to limbo, that is what the appreciation beam essentially leads to. That's in the same way that awareness deconstruction, that awareness beam is what we literally used to call the framework, which is why I call it appreciation beam in the first place. That awareness beam that we used to talk about from the Buddhist is the first step in achieving what you were talking about, passing that event horizon of speed where language breaks down. Because with the understanding of limbo and the understanding of appreciating individual things based on their utility so that you can make a choice with what you do with them next, and instead of allowing them to consume you, become you, with that you inherently understand that the thing which is thinking about any of this can also not be you, right? It's the same thing as what the whole bottom stage of the pyramid talks about, which is at any point which you are thinking about something, even if you are thinking about the fact that you are not something, even that thing is not you, right? Even the thing which is thinking about not being anything is actually still not you. It's not God either, right? God is not just the thing which is not anything. God is truly the lack of being anything at all, not even the thing which thinks it is not you, but literally anything. At all points in time, God is not that thing, and so God is all things. And, vague contradiction, but you get what I'm saying, which is basically the whole point. Well, I completely forgot what we were talking about, so I couldn't tell you the whole point. Oh, yes. Yes. And so with the basically what happens is if you focus on being the appreciation beam, if you focus not on being any individual thought and just being the sort of judge which gives thoughts thumbs down, thumbs up and thumbs down, then what will inevitably happen is you'll focus the appreciation beam on the appreciation beam. And then the hand which is projecting the good and bad, the up and down thumbs, suddenly becomes on the chopping block and gets eviscerated by itself continuously. It's like every single second that you think, is this thought good or bad, it is instantly eviscerated by the thing which is thinking, is this thought good or bad, which is eviscerated by the thing which is thinking, is this thought good or bad. It's like wardens on top of wardens on top of wardens, judges on top of judges on top of judges, all falling on the side of execution for each one down the ladder, infinitely up. Like that's what the rev limiter framework is. That's what you're talking about. It's like the appreciation beam that becomes so appreciative, the awareness beam which becomes so aware that it is aware of itself and so must destroy itself, as it is not as useful as not being aware of itself is. The meta awareness of itself as the decider is less useful than just watching things grow and destroy. If you are so aware of the fact that you are choosing between things, then you are not focusing on the most valuable thing. And so, therefore, you must destroy the thing which is thinking about things. And that is where, obviously, as you can already hear, based on how far into contradiction I am, things stop making sense in linguistic terms. You are no longer capable of speaking about this. This is the point where language breaks down completely, and even your mind no longer sounds like language. It just sounds like screeching and whooping and hollering. Oh, were you recording that?